What is up, everybody? You are tuned into another episode of the Thickness Protection Program. If you don't already know, I am the Thickness Pro. This is the podcast celebrating body positivity and where adult stars or models, content creators, and etc. come to open up about whatever the Got a lovely young lady sitting here right with me. Introduce yourself.
Madam Mermaid is my model name. Most of you will call me Madam, of course, but I also go by Sasha. A lot of my fans know me as that too.
Nice. Well, welcome, Sasha. This is Thickness Protection Program's first, interview on the road. We're up here in your city, Seattle. Now, tell me, where are you originally from? Did you grow up here in the city?
I deleted all my hoes for you. Even folded all my plans with all the bros for you. Ain't that real? Ain't that real? Yeah, ain't that real? Yeah, ain't that real? I deleted all my hoes for you. Even folded all my plans with all the bros for you. Ain't that real? Ain't that real?
Yeah, I'm actually born and raised in Seattle, Washington. Lived here my whole life. I've lived in a couple of states for like maybe a couple of different years, but other than that, no. I'm just a Seattleite, as we call ourselves.
Seattleite. Okay, true. So, what got you first into modeling? Shout out to Napoleon's World. Actually, I watched a bit of your interview with him, and you were saying, after an abusive relationship, your sister hooked you up with a bunch of photographers, and you lost a lot of weight, and then that's how the ball got rolling. But, tell me in your own words how you started modeling.
I was living in Arizona, left an abusive boyfriend. He wasn't shit. Of course, that's always how it starts. He wasn't shit. And so, I just went ham and I worked out like 5 hours a day every day and like dropped 50, 60 pounds in 1 month. And so then I came back, I moved back out here and everyone was like, you should start modeling. You should start modeling. You're so skinny. And yeah, my sister hooked me up with a photographer and like, because it was my first shoot, my sister is like full-blown nudist, so like the photographer expected me to be like that my first time around, and I was like, no, I don't like that. I don't know you, I don't like that. So that was my first time shooting ever.
You've gotten into a lot of different forms of modeling, be it runway, be it, in a lot of different music videos, which is how I first got aware of you. Through like the Seattle and Portland underground hip hop scenes. Break it on down, like how many different types of modeling and things like that do you do?
That's a good one. Okay, so I've been starting as of this year, I've been branching out to a lot of out-of-state runway modeling. So that's been new for me. And it also depends on if you're signed with a company or not, or if you're signed with a specific designer. If you're signed with a specific designer, then maybe 70% of the time they'll pay for your stay or they'll pay for your flight, like one or the other kind of thing. And if you're just going to be as a part of the fashion show, 90% of the time you actually have to pay for your flight and stay just to participate. And sometimes you even have to pay a submission fee as well, like put in your application, submit a walk and stuff like that. I've been doing music videos for about 9 years. So once I started modeling, I kind of just took off with that. And then runway shows, there used to be a thing in Seattle, also underground, called Chance Fashion. And it was called that because everyone deserves a chance was their motto. So they took in all different shapes, looks, colors, all different types of models, and they got all these actual designers together and they picked all these different types of models. So it was one of those things where you could get out there and strut your stuff and actually explore your confidence levels with no shame and with no discrimination. And it was like an eye-opener for me, and that's where I started doing runway.
I love it. That sounds really empowering, So take me all the way back, Sasha. You're born and raised here in Seattle. What was Miss Sasha like as a kid?
All the way back? Okay, like my teachers hated me because book reports had to be about animals. Like everything was about animals. I brought my own toys to school because the toys at school were boring. I always did book reports on animals, and like even for like the autobiography I did on Black Beauty, like I always found my loopholes. My teachers were like, can't you do something on a person? And I was like, okay, sure, I'll do it on Hidalgo, the guy that owns the horse. Like it was ridiculous. So, but I'm still like that, but not as bad now. It's just anything to do with animals, I'm all about it.
Word. You touched on one thing that I'm sure a lot of viewers are curious about right now. What is your ethnic background?
Okay, so a lot of people think I'm Polynesian. I'm actually black, white, and Belizean.
Black, white, and Belizean. Okay. Now, scrolling through your IG to do a little research, I saw a really, really cute pic of you and your mom. So, what is mom's side?
So mom is the Belizean side. Mom is Belize and white, and then my dad is black.
Word. Okay. In this business, being a woman of color, did you, face any racism or anything that rubbed you the wrong way? Rub you the wrong way?
Yes. I've never actually. Okay, so how I was raised is my father passed when I was 5 months old, and that was my black side of the family. My mother and I are the only colored people on her side of the family. So I was raised, and my mom has four plus older brothers, all brothers. And my grandmother was a foster parent. So I was raised by an entire, in my household, white community other than my mother. So I've never actually seen racism at a level that other people have. Like, I was never raised in like the ghetto. I didn't really understand a lot of black terms growing up, just because that's not how I was raised. I was raised in a private school. There was only 4 other black students other than myself in the school. Yeah, in the whole school. Yeah, so I was never really raised that way. And the only time I've ever experienced racism that I remember fully, I didn't understand. I was in 3rd grade and we were waiting in line to like go to recess. And one of the kids like behind me grabbed my hair and told me I was his slave. And I didn't understand what he meant by that because I had never dealt with racism.
That's ridiculous. Wow, in 3rd grade. Yeah, I mean, I think we all got to go through it eventually, but, it's kind of inevitable. But, as long as, parents and teachers, teach kids that it's wrong, like early on, that's where it starts. Madam Mermaid, that name kind of fits like the backdrop of Seattle. We're right here by the water. How'd you come up with that name?
Well, I kind of came up with that because the madam part, like, yeah, the mermaid part, because I like mermaids. It's a mythical creature. I like to read about myths and stuff like that. But the madam part, like, when I turned like 21, I started realizing that girls liked me. And I didn't understand it. And then it was like a button. It was like a click. Like, all of a sudden, these girls were just flocking to me. And I didn't understand. And I was like, what? And I was like, what if I was like, then I was like, how do I pick up girls? How do I do it? I need to figure out how to do it. And so other than that, like, I'm not sure I ever figured it out. I'm sure some of them still come to me, but that's kind of how I thought about it. And then I made it a purple because mermaids can also be purple and it's my favorite color.
Like it. The color purple, like Oprah. Yeah. Purple's always kind of been in my color scheme from the get-go too, so shout out to it, baby. So from modeling, you've been like featured in a lot of music videos. How'd you first find yourself in that scene where a lot of cats were reaching out to you to have you in their videos?
Okay, this is a good one. So I was still modeling, doing runway in the Chance Fashion stuff, and the person that was running Chance Fashion, he posted something on Facebook about someone he knew that needed extras for a music video at a mansion. So I found the details and I went to this music video, and it was at a mansion. It was super cool, laid back, respectful. Other models were there. And from then on, that artist particularly asked me to be in multiple of his music videos after that. That was my first one. And then he would refer me. He'd refer me to other artists. And the fact that I was getting more exposure really got my face out there. But on top of that, I also right before COVID hit, that year before COVID hit, I also was introduced to a photographer who's well known now. He goes by KG. And he also referred me to music videos. So there was a couple of times where we had to do music videos back to back, 3 to 4 days in a row, that kind of stuff. And just doing that much work and putting in that much time in for a short amount, it got my face out there a lot faster. And other because they're all gonna drop at different times, so it really got my face out there. And then other people started referring me.
It's just as simple as one job leads to another. So yeah, once you get acquainted in that circle, it's boom, you're working. Dope. Is there anybody, you know, from that hip hop scene you want to shout out or thank or put me onto?
Thank or put you on to. I'm saying if you need a cameraman, KG's the guy. But I do want to shout out Two-Time Tim if you haven't looked at him. For anybody, you can go to my Instagram, click on that link. You can see all the music videos I'm in, all of them. Two-Time Tim is the first artist that actually put me on. He's the first artist whose music videos I modeled for, and he's also been a real supporter because I've also been doing catering for food for a long time, and he would, even if I wasn't able to model for that day or if he didn't need me that day, he would still invite me out and pay for me to cater for the whole crew just for the music video. So he's been one of my number one supporters from day one.
I like it. Okay, shout out KG and Two-Time Tim. For sure. Now, recently, Sasha, you were out in Las Vegas for Girls Gone Wireless. What was that experience like? You looked like you had a great time out there.
So Girls Gone Wireless, in terms of Girls Gone Wireless, that was my first event with them. This will have to be my third or fourth content event. So going to Girls Gone Wireless was a little bit different for me just because I'm not used to going to content events where there's male talent. So that was new for me. And then, of course, like my best friend Finny was there. So it wasn't that I was just going in fully blind. There was a couple of people that I knew before I went there because I've never gone to a content party except for the first one where I didn't know anybody. And the first content party, I only knew the hostess. And so she invited everybody. And so that was my first time meeting a whole different models from all over the states doing their own thing, different hustles, all from all over. And it was all a positive thing. And it was a good time. And every time is always a good time. But it was a little bit different with the male talent because people were like, I want to shoot with you next. And I was like, huh? What? Me? No.
They're like, hey, you? Yeah. Come on, shoot. And you're like, cringe face. Yeah. But so was that the first time you got around Finny and you guys made friends?
No, actually. So Finny hit me up on Instagram earlier this year, the beginning of this year. And I saw that he shot with other models that I've shot with at previous content events. And so he contacted me and was like, hey, I want to shoot with you. And I was like, hey, I don't do like the sexual content that the models you're shooting with do. And he was like, oh, I already know, I peeped your shit. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, well, I'm going to be in New York Fashion Week in February. And if you're out there, we can shoot. And so he actually went out to New York and we met up and we did a couple of skits. And a lot of people really liked them because it's like the first skit I ever did with Finny. And it was the one where I put my feet on his face.
Nice. Yeah, Finny is such a chill dude. I still remember when I just joined a live with, I think it was you, him, and Sugar Milf. And yeah, I just, waved or whatever. And then he just, gave me my props like a real one. And then you say, oh, yeah. And I said, oh, yeah, I recognize, Madam Mermaid from, all the Portland and Seattle rap videos. And then, bam, here we are. So props to my man Finny with the assist. And Finny's worked with 80% of the, guests who've been on Thiccness Protection Program. So hoping to get him on here real soon. Now, Madam Mermaid, Sasha, I want to do a game with you called Down in the DM. Can you recall your most crazy, out-of-pocket, funny, ridiculous, outrageous DM or email you've ever received?
Well, no one's ever emailed me, so that's a first.
You got mail.
I think okay, so I think for someone trying to hit on me in terms of DMs, someone said years ago that I have more yams than what grandma makes at Christmas dinner. And I was like, what does that even mean? Like, why is grandma in this equation? I don't understand.
Yeah, they're just talking about that natural, good, homegrown soul food, thick thighs save lives, with all this stuff going on with surgery and BBLs and things of that nature. I'm just like, hey man, whatever happened to cornbread and collard greens? But I think that's what they were going for. We got Thanksgiving coming up right after Halloween, so maybe his mind was on the plate. Speaking of the plate, Sasha, what is Sasha's favorite thing to eat? Put me on just like some good local Seattle grub, like we were talking about before we started this.
So a lot of So Seattle is by the water. Everyone knows that. So you want to go to a place that has seafood. Generally, most of the seafood places are really good. I don't know how much you're into traveling, but there's this one spot that I went to that's not too expensive. Unfortunately, it's in Edmond, so it's a little bit of a ways from here. But they had this like seafood tower, and it had like sausage and crab and clams and freaking every good thing and cornbread on the side. I ate it for like 3 days. Like the money was worth it. It was so good. But other than that, I would have to say Catfish Corner is one of our best places to go to in Seattle. Dick's is one of our staples. It's one of those things you either hate it or you love it, because Dick's, you can't change what's on your burger. It's just, yeah. And then that's where, like, if you ever are on the internet and you see someone said they got a bag of Dick's, they really did. They got a bag of burger Dick's.
Excellent. Yeah, we tried Dick's on our first day here in Seatown, and it's not bad. You know, it's like, you know, we are used to In-N-Out. We are used to a certain quality, but like, hey, if you just want a quick bite, keep it moving, stop at Dick's. Yeah. You know, the hip hop head in me couldn't let, like, you know, something that's been said in a Sir Mix-a-Lot line pass me up. You know what I mean? So had to stop at Dick's. Sasha, Madam Mermaid, let them know where they can follow you and check out all your content.
All right. So generally, Instagram is going to be the easiest one because it has my link tree on there, and my link tree means that it has all my lists. It has all my music videos, all my other social medias. You can even buy a copy of a magazine I was recently published in this year. You can check out my Amazon wish list if you want to get me gifts, or if you want to see me in special outfits. Yes, I take requests. I just don't do the extra stuff.
Holidays are coming up.
My birthday is actually after Thanksgiving, so I don't talk about Christmas till after my birthday.
You know, that's funny. My birthday was last Friday, and I don't talk about Halloween until after my birthday. So, yeah, it's just the spooky season and the holiday season, but we don't mention either of those because it's birthday season, right? Talk to him. All right, everybody, this has been another episode of Thickness Protection Program. If you don't already know, I am the Thickness Pro. Make sure you are subscribed to youtube.com/palmofficial. Make sure you're following on Instagram, and my Twitter is at Thickness Pro. And yeah, everybody go tap in with Madam Mermaid. If you need her for a music video, holler. If you want to get a photo shoot, holler. Anything else going on in your life?
No, really, just traveling, Runway, all that stuff. I just totally remember that I forgot to put my Instagram. It's Sasha Boss 10. Yes, I have 2 accounts. The one with the underscore in front of it is for people that are trying to book me for out of state, whatever, photo shoots, you name it, all the good stuff. But Sasha Boss 10, all together, one word. The top of my profile, there's a link there, and you can click on all of the stuff. So I think that's it. And then anything else that is going on in my life right now? No. Nothing in particular, you know, just planning my birthday trip. Where will I go next?
There you go. To be continued. All right, everybody. Thank you so much, Sasha, Madam Mermaid, for getting down with the thickness.